Hello, I'm Father Greg Carlson.
And I'm Father Larry Gillick of the Society of Jesus.
And we're glad to tell you about how we became Jesuits and what it's been like for us to be Jesuits. I fell in love with the Jesuits when I went to Marquette High School in Milwaukee in 1955. As a young man, people like the nuns and priests in our parish had often said to me, "Greg, you should think of being a priest." But it sounded like a should to me, like a sort of an obligation or a thing that would be better for me. What happened when I went to high school is I saw men that were living vibrantly, dynamically, engaged with us as teachers, enjoying teaching us. And it wasn't hard for me to say, I want to be like these people. I want to live the kind of life they're living. So as I came to my senior year, it really wasn't for me about choosing one amongst many options. It was more a matter of, am I going to say yes to this challenging life, but one that I think talks to my heart like no other? I'm so happy that 52 years ago, I said yes. Larry?
Most changes in our lives come from people whom we have met. And like Father Greg, I met Jesuits before I went to high school at Marquette High in Milwaukee. I had a Jesuit uncle. And I liked the way he traveled, to be honest. He got around. He was at our Jesuit University in Gonzaga, Spokane. And I liked his style of life, his hard work, and the fun he was having. And then when I met the Jesuits at the high school, I loved the way they related with each other. I loved their dedication. I said, I want to do that. I had a little problem. From the age of 8, I was given the gift of blindness, and I knew I wouldn't be able to be a priest. So I entered the Jesuits in the great calling as a brother. We called them lay brothers. We called them coadjutors, but they are really members of the Society of Jesus, just like the priests. They are dedicated, they work hard. I said, that's for me. But in high school, I said, that's for me, but not right now. And so I went to college. I was going to go for 4 years. But after 2 years, within the second year, I realized that I was just treading water, wasting time. And I felt a restlessness of, it is time to respond to the call. Like Father Greg, why not just say yes and get on with it?
I'd like to say a word of what it's been like to be a Jesuit these last 52 years. Somewhere I heard of a blessing, may you have many adventures, and may some of them turn out good. That has certainly been a good description of my Jesuit life. I have enjoyed many adventures, and I continue to enjoy them today. I love this life. Not all of them have turned out good. Just a word about that in a moment. But some of the adventures for me have included lots of teaching younger Jesuits, smart, independent, active people who are eager to learn and to respond to a teacher. My own education brought me to a doctorate in Heidelberg, and so a great experience of European culture. I've been able to teach at several different schools, to work in honors programs and master's programs with some of our smartest and most gifted students. As it is, I keep getting asked to do lots of things that stretch me, that are new adventures. Just this last year, I had never been to a poster presentation, but I thought a poster presentation on what we're doing at Creighton for Jesuit values would be a good idea. When I presented it to the superior, Father Rock O'Connor, he said, "Great, you do it." And it turned out a wonderful success. 68 different people at the university presented posters on initiatives to make Jesuit education all it can be at Creighton. So the adventures keep coming. Some of them have been tough, especially roles of service that were very demanding, and maybe I didn't have all the gifts I would have wished to fulfill those roles. It has still been worth it to experience those wonderful adventures of my life. Claire?
As I mentioned, I entered the Jesuits as a lay brother, a coadjutor, a helper, and I worked in the fields, I worked as a janitor. But one thing I have found in the Jesuits is they don't let you hide. They might see you better than you see yourself. And during my studies, they said, you know, we think this is not just the superiors, but we, the society, your fellow brothers, think you ought to propose yourself to be ordained. You have gifts that you don't even know or are afraid to admit. And so they made inquiry in Rome, and after several tries, I got special permission to get ordained as a priest in the Society of Jesus, even though I had the apparent impediment of blindness. That's where my adventure began, learning how to be a priest, learning theology, and then learning all the ways that a priest is to minister. And that's the adventure, all the different people, classes, confessional, masses, retreats, talks, writing, traveling. Somehow the Jesuits say the only thing that can hold you back is yourself, your own fears, your own self-doubts and inferiority. And Jesus, through the brothers in the society, through my fellow companions, they have been the agents of God calling me beyond what I thought was possible. Life in the Jesuits is adventurous. It's also difficult. Trying to die to yourself, to live to the service of others. You never know when that call is coming. A phone call, an email, a personal encounter. Can you give Christ to us? Can you distribute His service to us as individuals or us as a community? So it's about availability, it's about saying yes, and it's about listening to Jesus even through the urging of your brothers who love Jesus and who love you.
Let me throw in one last thing. As I listen to Larry, it strikes me you might be curious to know what's a day like today like in this Jesuit life. Let me run through it quickly. I got up early this morning and had a chance to pray. A quick breakfast, and Larry and I had a meeting at 8 o'clock with some 18 faculty members to whom we'll present a retreat 2 weeks from now. What a wonderful thing that all 18 of these people took time in their busy lives at 8 o'clock in the morning and looked forward to this retreat experience. By 9 o'clock, I was with a fellow faculty member who's making a personal retreat and sees me once each week. 10:30, I was teaching Beowulf and showing a couple of video clips and helping students see how this epic relates to other epic poems we have read and will read this semester. A quick oral exam for one of the students who wasn't able to make it during last week's exams, and here are Larry and I doing a video presentation in the midst of a busy day. This afternoon, I'm reading Frankenstein with a group of honors students, and then meeting a student I taught last year who comes to me once a month to talk over what's going on in her life. Next up, right after that, is a lecture on Dante's Inferno, which I'll be teaching to my students next week. And as soon as that is over, we Jesuits will be gathering in this chapel to have Mass together and then a pleasant social and dinner. It's a day full of interaction with people, full of adventures. I enjoy it.
My day is full of interruptions which I see as invitations. There are no surprises anymore. You just expect the unusual. And under the Spirit of Jesus, under the Spirit of St. Ignatius, our plea to God is, give us the grace never to be deaf to the invitations, to the interruptions as calls.
Thanks for listening.